CarolJo's is an online jewelry and accessory business for women. You can find me at CarolJo's.com. We go live on TikTok 6 days a week for 7 different lives. I go live on YouTube 4 days a week for 4 different lives. So lives that I go on both of the social medias together are my lives that we do tutorials or we do chats. Sorry, my necklace is a little backwards there. There we go. So, and then on TikTok only, I go live twice a week with jewelry sales. And then on TikTok, I go live once a week with, or their bead sales, I go twice. Jewelry sales, I go once. And I also go live on Facebook with the jewelry sales. I am bringing up my backup account so I can read comments from TikTok. I do not have a backup account of YouTube, so I have to be able to do it. Okay. I'm almost there, so just give me a moment and we'll get the backup account up. All right, there we go. All right, now I can see comments from TikTok. So tonight is a tutorial night, and it's going to be just informational type tutorial, but I left my tool things over here. So Ryan and I just got back from having supper. So I just literally walked in the door right before live. So I didn't have a chance to lay out the tools that I use. So I'm just going to lay them out here and then we're going to start talking about them. I'll bring them up so that you guys can see them. All the different ones that we use. So, and that is what we're going to talk about, is just all the different tools that I use when I am making jewelry and how many of each one of the tools I have in my basket. So we've got the pliers and the tools, but we've got other tools that we use too. So let me see. Yep. There we go. All right. Hi, Chris. Who is really? All right. All right. I was going to say hi. Is it Miss Robolo Girl? Oh, thank you, Reed. Thank you for for subbing. I hope you, Brendan, will find a house or a place to live. So I am live on both social medias here. That's the stinky part, Brendan. So I'm live on YouTube and I'm live on TikTok. So I'm going to try to watch both for comments. Hi, Maria. So as always, oh, yay, thank you for letting me know. As always, on TikTok, if you do 7 shares and 10,000 likes, we will do a giveaway. And since this is a tutorial, I'm going to do, you can choose between jewelry and beads. Hi, WB. Oh, I said it wrong. I am sorry. Miss Roblox Girl. I thought I said it right, so sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Hi, Rose. So this is what we're doing tonight. We are going to talk about all the different types of tools that I use when I am doing jewelry and creating with jewelry. Different tools are used for different things. And so we're going to kind of talk about where I use them and when I use it. My favorite color is sage green. So that is what we have on the agenda tonight. So if you guys have questions as we're going through it about the different tools, where you might use it at, if I use it differently than you, go ahead and put it in the chat so we can share our knowledge, because that's one of the things that I love about us being here on social media, is that we can share what we do so that others can grow and learn too. And Joya over here on YouTube or on TikTok is telling all the YouTubers hi. So, yep. Oh, that's not good. And it is a trade, Brendan, that is needed. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And I don't know why Alexa won't play my music. I've asked her a couple of times before we even started the live. She hasn't started the music. She's being herself. All right. First tool. I actually always have 2 pairs at least at all times of this one. This is the chain nose or flat nose pliers. I use this one here. I'm going to just use one of them. If you look at it, there are no ridges in here. That is what I prefer to use when I am doing beading with this tool. I don't like the ridges. The reason why I do not like the ridges is because when I create, when it has the ridge, I leave impressions, and it's because of how I squeeze them when I do it. There are people that will use these types of pliers that do have the ridge, but they have the right magic touch that they do not leave marks on what they're working on. So it really truly is a preference if you want to have the ridges or not. I use these for when we need to do to create the dangle, and what I'm trying to find an example of the dangle. So like here, I'm going to use this purse bling for this dangle right here to create that loop there, or the wires on that. I use this plier to wrap it around. You can also use the plier to hold on to the circle while you're doing that. So, and then I also use it like when you're doing the chain. You open your chain up because some of the chain will have a little split in it right there. And you can use that 2 pliers, opening it and closing it. So one would come towards you, one goes away. Hello. And then when you're closing it, you do it the opposite way. That is the same technique that you use for jump rings. And I always use 2 tools, 2 of the flat nose or chain nose pliers to do that. I'm trying to think. When I do the crimping for the wire, like this one here is the wire bracelet. When I'm doing the crimping and I need to pull that wire, if I'm having a hard time doing it with my fingers, I will use the pliers to use it as my grip. Another thing that someone taught me is when you make the wristlets, when you have the string and you want to pull it and get it tight, you use the pliers to do that. I do make bracelets. Hi, Allie. I make all kinds of stuff. He is actually outside right now, Donut. So I make all types. Like this one here is a bracelet that is with the toggle clasp. I will make bracelets like this wristlet uses the premise of the bracelet, and it's used with the silk and the tying of it. I do stretchy. We have done the stretchy multi-layer or the 3-tier bracelet. I've done sewing bracelets, which I haven't done a lot of the sewing on my tutorials, but I do use needle and thread to make them. I can't right this second. He's outside working. Hi, Logan. Nice to meet you, and come in and have fun. We're doing a tutorial on tools tonight. So that is what I do. If you have questions about what other kinds of bracelets, let me know. Hi, Marianne. So that is like, I use that to help pull. I don't have an example up here in my bead room, but like we did one. Hold on. Someone's asking about a different type of bracelet, so I'm going to show them really quick. This one is made out of hex nuts that is sewn together with the fire line. So you'll see that the fire line's right there. This is one of the bracelets that I've sewn together. And the hex nuts you get at the hardware store. I've done the spiral wrap, peyote, all of that. But I've not taught spiral or peyote here on here. Oh, I never thought about bringing that back, Rose. Great idea. That one will probably be a Saturday one because that one takes a couple hours to teach. It's not quite 2 hours, but yeah, I can bring that back on a Saturday. Thanks for the idea. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget, because we all know I need to write them down. Sorry, I'm just writing myself a note. Okay. So yeah, so those are different types. I teach my classes here online. I have them on TikTok and I do them on YouTube. The reason, and I do them both live at the same time. so that you guys can go and watch them over on YouTube if you missed it or you need to rewind it so that you can see it again. So yeah, so if you would like to follow me from the YouTubers, if you'd like to subscribe to me on, or not YouTubers, the TikTokers, if you'd like to subscribe to me on YouTube, that's what I'm trying to say. You go to the CJS logo at the top, CJS logo at the bottom, and then scroll all the, there's a hyperlink that says Linktree, tap that and scroll to the bottom, and that will take you to YouTube, and then subscribe so that you can get notified or you have it there. I can do some of the other ones. They use seed beads, and I haven't used seed beads in a long time. I'll write down a note for those too. Okay. Thank you for following me on Pinterest too. I am on all different social medias. I have YouTube, TikTok. I have a TikTok and a backup TikTok. I have Pinterest. I have Instagram. I have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. So yes, I know that you don't do the Facebook or the Insta, Joya, but I'm on all of those. So you guys can follow me or subscribe to me on all of those. So if you want to. Yep. And so, yeah, so doing some of the seed beads, I haven't done it in a while, and I haven't tried it since I had my LASIK. So I wrote that down. I want to try it before we bring them into a tutorial to make sure that with my LASIK, it'll work. So those of you that don't know, my LASIK is one eye is for distance and one eye is for up close. And sometimes there is a spot that when I'm doing things, I can't see because it's that spot that is just not the right. And it's really, truly. Jade, you're cracking me up. So Jade over here makes fun of, because I sell beads. And so she's like, you're taking all my pennies. So I'm going to have to on all the platforms. Oh, so that's cracking me up. So we'll go back to our little tutorial we have going on. So the first one was our different, the chain nose pliers. I always have two. In my little container, I actually have three right now. I have a backup pair just in case. So, but these are the ones that I just love. They are my favorite pliers. But there are a lot of them that we love. So I've got two of these because when since I sell beads, I also started selling some of the tools, and I don't want to sell a tool that I haven't tried and made sure it is good. So originally my pair of split ring pliers. So you see where you got that little doohickey right there? Show you over here. So that, I'm gonna see if I can get it to, there we go. Ooh, we got a shiner. So that is to open up split rings. Split rings are like your keychains, where you have the two circles, and you get in between the two right at the edge, and it opens it up so you don't have to ruin your nails. So that is the split ring. And I have another pair with red handles I do not like. So, and they're both made by the same company. I don't get why on the split ring tool, some of them work and some of them don't, but that's just the way they are. So that's why I said when I sell tools, I want to make sure I'm going to like it. So I ended up finding this one from my suppliers for what I have sold, and it works fabulous too. So either one of these types work. The other one that I have, it's just not the same, and I don't know why. So that is what we had. Another one that is a lifesaver. If you work with split rings at all, this is what you want. They're over here talking about selling body parts to pay for beads. I'm just laughing, sorry. The other pair of pliers that I use a lot is the round nose pliers. They're just a round nose here. And when I use these, if I'm like making earrings with them, you will find that I use this one and I will put marks on it. The marks will come off as you're using it. So if you're going to make mass quantities of something on one day because you're doing it for sale, because that's your business, you will have to redo your black mark. And when I mean black mark, I just use a Sharpie and I will put a black mark on there. The reason why I put the black mark on there is so that consistently my loops are all the same. I am not guessing where I want my pliers at. So for an earring, I do not have a pair of dangle earrings right here. Oh, I have a pair up here because we had them yesterday. What I'm talking about is the hole, that loop that we're making at the top here, right here. This one will be the same for both earrings. And I'm looking at that and that's a little crooked. So I got to fix him. Wrong tool. So even when you're doing wire wrapping of any type or something, you can use your flat nose to help manipulate your wire, or your head pin in this case, and make it straight. That's the thing it's used for. So, so that's the flat or the round nose pliers. I use it whenever I create my dangles. My dangles that I create, and there is a tutorial out on YouTube about it. It is the earring tutorial. It is I think it's even titled dangle earring tutorial. That is literally the one to watch on how to make those. You can use that same technique to make any kind of dangle that you want. So like here, we put it on the key ring and use the dangles. Woo! I never thought about the eye hook. Someone put in here, the crimping plier works in a pinch for that. And the end of it would work. But that's what I use my round nose. You can do it for necklaces. You can make little dangles for your bracelets, your earrings. I've made necklaces that you do the dangles that are like all the way up on a piece of chain. We've created bracelets where the entire bracelet is all dangles. There's lots of things that you can do by creating those dangles. Thank you, Brandy, for the heart me and for the rose. And I know someone is also sent me a heart me over on TikTok, and I didn't say thank you, but now I say thank you, and I don't remember who it was, so I apologize. Oh, no. Thank you, Grammy. All right, so then next tool that I use a lot is the flush cutter. This cuts like everything that you want, except for memory wire. So you can, because they're flush here on the back side, you can get in and cut what you need right along it because it's the type scenario. I prefer my flush cutters to be the tapered here. There are some flush cutters that will have the circles here and others prefer those. That is totally a preference of what you like, but this is the one I like. And so I said you can cut almost everything with those except for memory wire. This is a pair of memory wire cutters. They are an industrial strength because the memory wire, this is one that is not as thick as others. But if you were to try to cut this off, because I put a loop in here on this end, I was testing something out, a new tool. I'll show you guys here in a moment. But when I want to cut this off, if I use my regular cutters, I am going to break them. So we don't want to keep having to buy flush cutters because we're using them on memory wire. Get a memory wire cutter. If you don't want to get memory wire, do just a regular wire cutter. I'm just saying, memory wire, do not use your flush cutters on. Someone said something about crimp pliers will work in a pinch for things. Here is your flush cutter, or your crimped pliers, I'm sorry. These are the crimps. So there is always two little holes here. You've got the first and the second hole for doing it. Yes, some of it is stainless steel and it's very, very hard. So when we have tutorials on how to use the flush, or why do I keep calling these flush cutters for some reason? They're crimp pliers. But there's a tutorial on how to do it, but you use both of the holes on here. What I mean by a crimp, for anybody who is new, it is the little, I'm going to take off my bracelet and try to shove my hand up in there. The crimp is right there. It's for putting that on and closing it up. Ah, you can like, I'm calling these flush pliers instead of crimp pliers. Ah, it's been a night, but I seriously, I've had one pair of crimp pliers and I've been doing jewelry since 2005. I literally bought these in 2005 and still using the same pair. I have not been able to get in the memory wire cutters, in all honesty, at a price point that makes sense to buy them. I have not looked for the crimp pliers lately, but let me see if I have any in my back stock. Yes, you will need the memory wire tool to do that. So let me see, Rose, if I have one. Oh, I will do a tutorial on, I'm going to add it to my list of tutorials, okay? I don't want that plier. So Rose crimp pliers. And then I will do some sort of a tutorial on using the crimp pliers. So you can make the bracelets, you can make the necklaces with it. I will do something with it, with the wire, so that we use the crimp tool, okay? I don't know when it's going to be, but I put it on my list. Is that DJ Poet 11? Is that how you say that? Am I reading that right? If I am, hi. If I'm not, please tell me how to pronounce it right. So we have, I will put that on my list. The newest tool is, I got this one, and this one is a bail maker, bail making plier. This one allows you to do 6 different sizes. Oh, good. Thank you. 6 different sizes of making either wire wrapping bails that you would use for jewelry making. You can make jump rings with this. I actually used it for the memory wire to do the circle. And so on this one that I purchased, the smallest loop was a 3 millimeter. So that's this one here. And it was a little bit bigger than I wanted, and I didn't know if these came with smaller. So we talked about it when we've been on our social medias, and someone said, yes, there is one that's a 2 millimeter. So I went out and bought the one that starts with a 2 millimeter to try that out. So this one here is 2 millimeters. This one here is 3 millimeters. So over here on YouTube, this one is 2 and this one is 3. And so as you can tell with the different sizes, they're going to be smaller. So when I said I was trying it out with the memory wire, I'll show you guys how it is with that small one. So here is how small it is. So it is smaller. I'll do on this end, I will do the 3 millimeter, or maybe I'll just cut one off and do it on the end here. Memory wire cutters. Got them. So then this one with this smallest one, I had to, well, and you know what I did? All right, so here you go. You can see the difference in the size, hopefully. There you go. Yep, you can see the difference. This one is the 2 and this one is the 3. Here we go. So you can see the difference. I like the 2 better. So when I went to order these, when I went to order the second one, I went and I thought I put the 2 in there. And guess what? I ordered a second one with this with only the black handle. So it was this size. And I'm like, that's the wrong one. So I had to order it for a second time to get this one. I have checked on this. Ooh, I like that. So I got to return the other one. So I just got to take it into town. But I'm glad I got this one because with the memory wire, I think I'm going to like it. At some point when I'm going to be doing, someday I will do wire wrapping. Both of these will come in handy, so I'm not going to get rid of them. But yes, I have an extra one of this size right now. And when I am trying to get these from where I order from, I cannot get them at a price point. You know, if I were to get them and they would be within a couple of dollars of what they are on Amazon, I would order them. But I cannot get them from my suppliers anywhere near an Amazon price. So I'm just letting you guys know. I have been looking. It is not happening. Because this one is like the same price. I brought this from the supplier that I use, and this is the same price as what it is on Amazon that I paid for this one. So, kind of stinky. Yep, I have that one coming up. I have that one in 2 sizes. Yep, I paid $8.95. So, right around the same price as you, Miss Joya. This here is the nylon pliers. And I think, Grammy, this is what you were talking about, the head pin straightener. I use this to straighten head pins. So you use the flat nose or the chain nose, whatever you want to call those pliers. I'll show you how this works because I love it. I have some head pins in here that are not straight. So sometimes when I get my head pins in, they look like this. They are not straight at all. I take my flat nose and put it on the head pin side where the head is at, and take this is called a nylon plier, and just wrap it, just pull it down, and it straightens it. And now I can use it. It's not wasteful. So that is what the nylon plier that I use it for. When I make my rings, those are wire wrapped rings that I make. If I need to straighten out my wire because I didn't get it good when I started bending it, you can't do it over and over and over again, but you can, like a time or two, if you didn't get it right, you can straighten your wire out with the nylon pliers. So I use it mostly for straightening either head pins or wires. I have a question. What does anybody else use these for? And mine have been very well used and loved. They are getting worn out here in the pads. So I need to find them because I was told there's a little screw in here. So you can change out your little nylon pads here. And I need to do that. I like it because it makes me... And sometimes if it's just a little bend, I don't have to put the pliers on it and then you can bend it. But if it's a big bend, I do need it. But it saves me from getting and not using all of the head pins I receive. Because you guys have seen my bag of head pins when I get them. They are a total mess. The other tool that I have 2 more for sure that I was going to show you. And then, no, that would really stink. This one actually doesn't slip off. It actually has a little screw in it. So if you look right there, and it goes through it, because you can see where the screw is going through and holding it on. So that is what I need. I need to get the ones that have the screw, because this one doesn't slip on and off. Because I've investigated that so far. But I need to find the little pads too. The brand for this one is Beadsmith. So when I started doing jewelry, I went to a bead store that was in Sioux Falls, and they sold all Beadsmith products. So when I started doing it, even my flat nose pliers used to all be Beadsmith. So I got these there. I got my memory wire cutters there. I got my split ring pliers. And that's because that's what they sold. I didn't know that you could buy other brands. And so literally, it's all a preference on what you want. Beadsmith is going to be more expensive than other brands. But as I've said, mine have held up. But the things that I have actually bought from my suppliers when I sell them are not Beadsmith, because I don't go to the distributor for Beadsmith and buy that brand. And because of that, I will try the tools before I will sell them to you guys to make sure that they're at a quality that I'm okay with. Because if it's going to break, or if it just feels flimsy, or it just doesn't feel right in my hands, I don't want you guys to have that negative experience. So I'm going to say, I don't think that you always have to buy the Beadsmith brand. You just need to find quality tools that work. Um, if you go to some of the the Joann's, the Michaels, the Hobby Lobbies, they will have all types of tools in there. And I would say you can try those too. The only thing I'm going to say is don't buy the mini version multi-pack. So like they will have a multi-pack that will have the cutters, that will have the crimpers in there. They will have the flat nose pliers, and they're really small. But the micro crimpers and those crimpers that are really small, they don't work as well. And the micro crimper, when you're looking at a micro crimper in the store, you will have a handle and it will say micro on one of the two handles. Those are not, even if they're the normal size, don't do the micro. They just don't close as well. They just don't work as well. If there's one thing I will say is, for tools, do not buy the minis or the micro crimper. They're just not as easy to use. Yeah, and that you can get different sizes. And with Panda Haul, with doing that, you got to read the size of the tool. And literally, I have a ruler when I am looking at things online. And I am sitting here reading, because everything is going to be in the metric system. And I'm saying, okay, if it's this, I'll come down here and go from this side and go, okay, it's 10. So 10 is 35 to 45. So that's about 4¼ inches. I literally sit here either having my ruler in my hand and looking it up, or I'm converting it online to make sure that I am getting the right size. The looper is the one that we're talking about. I have two different sizes of the looper. Here, let me go. They're like this. And it's patent pending, but it doesn't say that they're Beadsmith. I have never figured out when I bought these who it was. But literally, these are the only ones. I do not have access to it. I haven't found another supplier that would supply them. And it is literally, these are it. There are 3 sizes that I know of for this. We have the 1.5 millimeter loop. We have the 3 that I have. Those are the 2 sizes I have. There is one in the middle that is 2.25. Okay, it must be Beadsmith then. I bought mine from a company called Art Beads, and they're in, like, I believe the Seattle, Washington area. They were having a sale where you could have one item for 50% off. And I bought this one first, the 1.5, and I loved it. And I'm like, but do I always want it to be 1.5? So when they had another sale at 50% off of one item, I bought this one, which is the 3 millimeter. I use the 1.5 the most. So which size do you have, Venus? So I would say if you're only going to buy one, you will use this one the most, the 1.5. The green, you have the 3. Okay. And I love them when I'm going to do them, but I only use this one. We actually used this one the other day on one of the tutorials because we were making that dangle necklace using the toggle, the circle toggle part here. Like if you got extras in your order and you don't have a bar for it, you can use this part and make a necklace with it. And that's what we were doing. And the circumference of the toggle circle that I was using was bigger. The 1.5 didn't work. I think if I would have had the 2.25, it would have worked, but I don't have that one. So we used the 3 to make that one. So that is literally what we did. Yes, I'm just looking at Joya. I literally cannot find it any cheaper. It is not a cheap tool to buy. There are pros and cons to that tool, I will tell you. Um, I love it if it is something that you're not, it doesn't need to be durable. And what I mean by that, I will not be selling those Sunrise because I cannot get them from my suppliers. So I would say you can go to, I said like art beads. You can go to artbeads.com, and if they're having a sale, buy them when you can get them on sale. Go to Amazon, go to the stores when they have tools on sale. That's literally where to do it. Etsy, Patsy said Etsy. Why did I call you Patsy? Patty. Oh my Lord, I'm renaming people. So, but literally, and I think it was because it's Etsy and I had the S in my mind. But anyways, when you can find them on sale, that's when because it's not an inexpensive tool. The Fire Mountain has beads for sale. Do they have like they have like an annual sale where they will have their beads on sale, like for so much per strand or that type of thing. I remember doing that a lot. I haven't bought from Fire Mountain in probably 5-6 years. I just haven't had to buy from them lately. When I first started out, um, I rename people all the time. But I haven't bought from them in a long time. But when I first started, I bought from them all the time. Okay. So that is, so then how you use this tool, we've talked about it, is that there is a circle here. So you want to put your head pin or eye pin right underneath the circle. Line your beads up so it's along this edge. You don't want your beads right up to the circle. It's too close and you don't get to get your circle in. And then on this side, there is a little hole, and you stick your end of the head pin or eye pin through that hole, and then you push it together. And then I always take my bead and just push it towards me so that you can get that circle. I have not used that tool before. I use this one if I'm going to have a dangle. So when we made these earrings, so an earring, you're not going to be touching all the time. Like on my bracelets, I would not do the looper because there's the hole here. I mean, it didn't wrap around the base of the bead, that head pin or eye pin. And because of that, if you have it on your bracelet, you're going to hit it and knock it a lot, and you might open that up and lose that bead off of there. So that's why I do them like on earrings or necklaces is when I would more use my looper tool. If I am going to be doing something like here where we've got the purse bling that has the dangle on it or a bracelet, I'm going to use the technique that I call like the dangle for the wire earrings. So you can do it all with that, but this is a lot easier for some people. And the technique that I use for this, some people have a hard time doing. For the memory wire bracelet, I just use now, I'll show you here, the bail making tool. And I use the I got the 2 millimeter size here. I'm loving that for memory wire. So this is using the bail making tool with memory wire. This is a piece of memory wire. This one's the 2 millimeter and this one's the 3 millimeter. Using the tools to do that. You can make different sizes of the loops. And that's what I've been using. Once I got this tool and I started using it for my memory wire, I'm loving it. I used to use the round nose pliers, which is these, to do that. And I felt like making them, it really hurt my wrist to turn that wire. Using the bail making tool literally has been a lifesaver. Some people don't like the size that this is and want something smaller. I've never used, okay, I've got memory wire here. I know, it's hard. So let me try, I'm going to see if I can do that with the memory wire. Because I got memory wire sitting here. Okay, this is being like really difficult. Oh, there it went. Okay. There it is. It didn't shut it. And that's the one thing that I will tell you guys with the looper. It doesn't always make your loops completely shut. And you're going to want to take a round nose or your straight nose and finish that up and make sure it shuts. Because you don't want to lose whatever it is. So there it is. Using the looper. So I learned something new tonight. Woohoo, thank you. Hey, we passed that goal, Patty. I started as I've gotten older. My hands don't have as much grip and I cannot do the round nose as well with the memory wire. Hey, that's what Tutorial Nights is all about, is like, what can we share for tips and tricks to help us all out? Whoop, that's not where I wanted to go. Here's where I wanted to go. We're going to do our giveaway. Right at this moment, I do not have anybody on YouTube, so we're going to do it on TikTok only. I'm going to put a number between 1 and 50. And you guys will get to pick between jewelry or bead soup. Ooh, I'd have to like look into that. Somebody already guessed my number. I got to write this down. Hold on. And then I got to grab everything. Who won? Miss Patty, you are the winner. And then Jade did it after her. The number was 34. So let me just write my sticker here. 410. And then let me grab the stuff. So Patty, I'm like, you reminded me, and look at what your reminder did. It got you a winning. All right, let's dig in this container here. I moved my stuff around, so all the stuff that is not earrings and sets are in one container now, so I don't have to keep grabbing the wrong thing. Okay, we'll do that size. All right. Okay, you have your choice, Miss Patty, on a blue glass bead bracelet. Let me see if we can get that to focus. Hi, Mia. How are you tonight? There. Or you can do yellow bead soup. And we have glass pearls, crackle pearls, and we've got rondelles that are glass. We have glass beads. So oh good, I'm glad. Glad it's better night. So you just need to let me know, Miss Patty. Okay, I can do that. Thank you. Yes, that's what I love about this group, that we just care about each other. All right, so let me set that up there. If we get to 20K before we end, we'll do another one. We'll have to see. So those are some of the tools that I used. One of the other tools that I wanted to show you guys, bead stopper. I love my bead stoppers. You guys would not believe how many bead stoppers I have because I've collected them over the years. A bead stopper is like a spring with little ears. You open it up by pressing those together. You put your wire, either your wire or your stretch cord, whatever it is in there, like that. I'm showing them over here on YouTube. And it stops the beads from running off of your string. They make it so that you don't drop what you're working on. Yes, they work for all sides. I mean, it works to help for everything. Whether you're making necklaces on wire, bracelets. I've even used them I've even used them sometimes on this. When I don't want my beads to keep running around in circles, I will put a bead stopper on it with where I want it to stop at. When I have double bracelets and I want to keep the one out of my way, I will just put bead stoppers on both ends of the one that I don't want to. So, yes. Yep, you will. Yep, when you drop them, they will stay on. But so you just, the one thing that I was taught when I was learning to do jewelry, and then when I started teaching it in the actual bead store, you always use this thing called a bead mat. This is another tool that we need. It doesn't have to be an expensive bead mat. I have taken material and cut it up. Just a fleecy like material, because what it is that you want to stop the beads from rolling all around that you have. You know, I have on my table a black tablecloth that I work on. The beads roll on that black tablecloth. This stops them from rolling. When you are beading, you do not lift your project away from your bead mat. And what I mean by that is if you're beading away, I always have my my bead stopper on my bead cloth, my beads here, and I'm just, sorry, not my dad. Um, it isn't felt. I've never figured out what the material is. Sorry, it was not my dad that tried to call. It was a coworker. So I will call her back. Yeah, Ryan's okay. He's outside. He's fine. But it was a coworker trying to call me. So but I always just have my bead stopper laying on there and I bead up here. I don't lift this up off of my bead mat. And the reason being is that then you have less chance of it going and falling somewhere else. Yep. No, if he's home, he's just outside. It's really nice here. Yep. So yeah, so this is literally, and I will tell you guys, when I teach classes, I didn't have enough, or I couldn't find enough bead mats to teach. I used to have a couple of times a year, I would teach Girl Scouts in 2 different towns near me. And when I say Girl Scouts, they bring every level of Girl Scout in to do it. And the first time I went to do it, it was like 30 little girls. And I shouldn't say little, there were ages like 6 to 16 doing this project. And I did have help doing it, but I didn't have enough bead mats and I couldn't find enough here in the town I live by to purchase them, to every girl having their own bead mat with this material. I ended up finding a material that has some of the same texture as this, which was not quite the fleece blanket material feel, but it's a similar feel to that in a solid color. And I just got some of that and I cut it up into bead mat size. So you can use that. You're going to find bead mats. They are on Amazon, Etsy. They will be at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and Michael's. And they'll be different sizes. Because if you notice, I got 2 here that are the same size. Hold on, I know where there's a different size one. So even at the store, they will be different sizes. So there's one smaller. I'll show you when I hold them up together where you'll see. This one isn't as long as that one. Yeah, it's a cent. Yep, I think that would too. So yeah, so you can get different colors. You can get different sizes. The material is similar, but not always the same. It's just like, it's a soft material, but it doesn't have a big pile on it. I hope that helps explain what a bead mat is. And maybe if we Google it, we can figure out what the material is. But I have them in all different colors. I have pinks, I have blues, I have green, I have the tan here. Nope, I do not do COVID masks. I do not need to wear COVID masks where I live at. So that is just literally, thank you for the cornrows. And I literally, yeah, it's like a fleece, like a really low pile fleece is what it feels like. And that's what I bought when I did it for the Girl Scouts. But it keeps them from rolling is literally what you want to do. And so you guys know, when I do my beading, I just do it on a bead mat. I do not lay anything out on the bead trays. I have bead trays. So that's another tool that you can decide if you want. And so I have the bracelet bead tray here, where you have the different sizes for the different size bracelets. You lay them out in this circle, and then you just string it on whatever material you're stringing it on. I also have the bead mats. Okay, this one's funny. I don't know why they put mom on it. Someone else wrote on my bead tray, mom. So you've got this here, and they will, you can lay it out in these. This one is a 3-row necklace. You can lay it out. You can use the bottom one for bracelets, or if you're going to do a single strand of anything, you use the bottom one. These have little cubbies for the different beads so that you can put them in there. This one doesn't really have the cubby for the beads, but you guys know I store my beads in my trays, and my beads are all in little containers. So I don't need to have the little things in the trays, but that's because of my bead containers. So those are like a lot of the different tools that I use. Organization and containers is a completely one. I don't, because we don't have to wear them. I do not have masks because where I live at, we are not underneath any mandate. We don't need to wear them, so I don't anymore. Oh, yeah, that can happen with the these. Are you talking about Miss Joya? Because these are just like a plastic where they will break. And I have smaller ones when I do classes that I take with me when we go do like the Girl Scouts, that type of thing. And I actually don't use them anymore. I just have them there when we talk about them, but I don't use them anymore. I literally lay everything out on my bead mat and do that. Now, if I'm not in my bead room when I'm creating, if like I'm in the living room, I have cookie sheets with the ledges. You know how you can get cookie sheets that have the little ledge that they're not flat? I will lay a bead mat in there, and I use that to make my jewelry on because it's portable. You got these containers. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. I find it very hard for me to breathe when I wear something like that. So I don't do it anymore. So I just grab my containers, a cookie sheet, my bead mat, and whatever tools and such that I need, and I can put it anywhere. And I literally, for my measurements, I have my ruler. I don't know how to do that on there. So I literally, and let me tell you, when I think so. So I have different rulers here. At first, I loved the pink ruler look. And they, oh, that is weird. So when I thought I would like this, but when I put it down, when I have it on my black tablecloth, because my lines are black, I can't see my measurements. But if I have it against like a light color, like the bead mats, I can see it. So there I can see it, but not on my tablecloth. So what I had to do is I ended up getting this one. Okay, we'll see you later, Mia. Have a good night. I like it better with this type because I can see my numbers. I know some people use the rulers that you pull out. It goes and then you roll it back up. And it's a tape measure, but it's a soft tape measure. And I think that would work great too. Now, when I am doing the when I've done the stretch cord that I sell, I actually have a ruler that is a meter long, but it folds up so that I can just do that quick. It has meters on one side and inches on the other. I don't like this one out all the time because, as you guys can see, it is very long. It is a meter. So I have different measuring stuff. I also, oh, I didn't talk about this one. I bought it off of Amazon. I just needed to measure a meter. I mean, I could do, you know, the meter with this. It was actually like, you would go to 100 and it was just too time consuming. And I bought that and I'm like, it saved me a lot of time. So, this is my little gauge to measure my size of my beads. I use this a lot so that I know what my sizes are when I am selling beads. Well, thank you, Jaded Rose. I appreciate you guys. And so this here is how I measure them. I didn't realize. So when I was measuring beads, and if it was just like slightly between two numbers, then I was like, well, it would be like 9.5-ish. Because I didn't know. One of my kids taught me how to read this. So I don't know if you guys know how to read them when they're manual like this. But what you do is you go across the bottom, and wherever one of them lines up with that number. So I'm seeing here with where I'm at. Let me move it back just a titchy bit here. And I'll show you what I mean. Right there. So this one is between 9 and 1. You see how this doesn't line up? It's in between the two numbers. When you go across and when the bottom number lines up with another number, that will tell you what your point is. So if it were like 9.5, it would line up, because I had it right here. Oh, there we go. Now I got it right with the 4. So like, see how it lines up with the 4? So that would be 9.4. I don't know if you guys knew that. So that is like how you read with this. So I'll show you over here on YouTube. Let me get it back set up in the same spot. There we go. So when this one is not on, this 0 is not on one exactly, you go across the numbers until you find where it lines up exactly, and that will be where it's at. Literally was like, oh, well, that's something to know. They also have these in digital too. I just have never bought a digital one. So that is some of the tools that I use. I don't use every single one of them every day, but I pretty much use almost all of them in a week, throughout the week, whether we're doing tutorial nights or I'm working on something, that type of thing. Oh, so you had to use, yeah. And I think I want to get a digital one. And I have not found the digital one that I want to get. So I'm still looking. So if anybody has any type of like preference for a digital one, let me know. I know Amazon has them, but I just, when I look at them, I'm like, I don't know. I know it sounds silly. I just don't know which one I want. So that's why I was going to say, if you guys have preferences, let me know. They came back for a little bit and then they left. Okay. I'm looking for an opinion, or, you know, your guys' honest feedback to buy one. So that is what I actually use for my tools. And I know you guys, you can laugh at my tool holder. We all have tool holders of some sort. Mine is a 31 bag. They're always there. I always have them. And we got to 20K. We get to do another giveaway. Okay, so let's do a number over here on TikTok. There we go. So go ahead and enter in numbers between 51 and 70. And let's see what we can go find here. I'm going to dig down in and we're going to pull this one out. Okay. Or we could do, I'm going to close my eyes and pick out one there. All right. There's two of this necklace and I'm trying to separate the chain. There we go. All right, we have a winner. I don't know who it is. Let's go see who it is. All right, it's Miss Patty again. Since she gave it away, I'm going to say she could do it again because it's my thing. So, Miss Patty. It was 73 was the number. All right. Ugh. That was glued onto that. Yay. You have, I think we gave one of these away in a different color. We have the yellow necklace, and it's a yellow night, I guess, green bead soup. So you just need to let me know, do you want bead soup or the necklace? Usually it was Jade that gets it multiple times. Bead soup, okay. Got it. Put you down for that. Now, I have a question for you guys before we end for tonight. Are there any other tools? Joya's comment over here was the necklace reminded her of the Twilight Zone. Hi, Cindy. Oh, we were just talking about what tools that I showed a whole bunch of tools tonight, all different types of tools. So my question is there a tool that you use that I did not show tonight? Which one is that? What one did I miss? I'm like, I went through my tool bag. So let me know. My Dr. Pepper is the tool to get me through the process. I love that one, Jade. That was funny. And I actually have a completely brand new Dr. Pepper cream soda even. And I didn't even take a drink of it. It is my addiction. You would think, I'm going to laugh at this, but you would think maybe Dr. Pepper could like sponsor me. I don't actually use, I do not use the bent nose pliers. So I don't even have a pair of those. All right. So we had, I'll go through them here. I'm just grabbing them out of here, Cindy. We have the looper tool. This one's backwards. There we go. We got the looper tool where we have the 1.5 and the 3.0 is what I have. I don't melt nylon cord. I only did it when we did the tutorial for this. So I have not bought like the butane for that. You know, they have the butane ones to do it. I've used just a lighter. So that's literally what I've used. And you can't show that on TikTok. Oh, there's actually 3 sizes, Cindy. There is 1.5, 2.25, and 3.0. I do not have the 2.25. But yes, we have the round nose plier was another one that we use. I have 2 different sizes here. The bail making pliers where we have them in different sizes. I won't be doing that. I have flush cutters. Oh, really? I have not seen those, Joya. You know how I've measured them? I use this. Whoops, you can't see it. I measured them with this. Yep, you can do that. Okay. I've got the split nose or split ring pliers. the nylon pliers. I don't have any. I live in a state where it wasn't mandated. Memory wire cutters. Flat nose pliers are also chain nose pliers. Crimp pliers. I have another pair of split nose pliers. And I have in my little bag 3 pairs of those chain nose or flat nose pliers. And then we talked about the Springer. Whoop. That would be, depending on how big they are, they could be really cool to use. But I'm just trying to think of what would you use them for? So that is the tools that we talked about. Yep. And I use them all the time for my jewelry making. Split. Yeah, split ring. Did I say split? No. Thanks, Joya, for catching that. It really is. I don't have any that have the grippers on them. I just have always used the ones that I got. Because the bead store I worked in got them without and got them in mass supplies. And then when they went out of business, I ended up buying a ton of them when they went out of business. Because they were having all of their beads and all their supplies at 50% off. So then I just bought a whole bunch. I don't know. Are you talking about, so we talked about for like the nylon gripper pliers, we talked about, and what we did on my tutorial, and then it took me a while to figure it out, is, this is the bad thing about just putting them in this bag. There we go. I had to find them. These pliers, you turn them and then pull. You have to do it a specific way. Have you used your electric bead spinner, Joya? Because I've never used a bead spinner, whether it be manual or electric. I have never used one. And what, oh dear, my shoulder just popped. Like my collarbone, I should say. And it was literally, you grab each side, you do have to turn it around, like wrap them up in there, and then pull. If you just left it straight, you kept pulling off. So like if you're, you know, like if it's here and we were doing that way. I don't use the rubber tip. Oh, my nylon ones. Oh, I'll show you. These ones. They're nylon is what this is. I use this to straighten wire. If you're doing wire wrapping and you need to like straighten your wire, this. Also, I use it to straighten head pins. So if you ever get a head pin in, that's just like, some of my head pins come to me like this. Some of them will be just slightly bent. I saw one in here that, like this one is slightly bent. You can use, if it's a really bent, I use this, and I got my head down here, use the flat nose and just straighten it. And now it's ready to use. If it's just a slight bend like this one, sometimes I'll just hold it with my fingers and just lightly go over it. But sometimes when you're pulling on it, this part will hurt your fingers, and that's when I get this tool out. Yeah, it straightens your head pins and it'll straighten your wire. That's what I use that one for. I bought those at my bead store that I used to, where I learned beading and where I used to work at, and they've been out of business. I have tried to get them. So I tried to get them from my suppliers, and I thought I was ordering the right size. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at any place. But you got to see. So we talked about the minis. You don't like minis? Let me tell you, these do not work. This is a miniature one. No way. It does not work. So nylon pliers, you're going to want to buy, I'm going to tell you in inches and meters here. You're going to want to buy them when they are in the length of like around 5 inches or 120 millimeters or 12 centimeters. That's the size you want. You don't want mini. We had a discussion. Mini, no. It just does not work. So that is what we got there. You're welcome. All right. Well, I am going to hop off here. Tomorrow night will be chat night. So guys, we had this discussion at work today, always calling everybody guys. We're all not guys, we're gals. So we got to work on using everyone instead of guys. So I need to do that. So everyone, bring questions to tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. We're going to have chat night. Thank you, Delisha, for the follow. I gotta go figure something out on YouTube too, called the but we will have chat. I'm gonna sort charms for our Saturday charm sale while we're on it, but I want you guys to bring questions. If you have more questions about tools, come, let's have another discussion about it. Thanks everybody for joining me tonight. Okay, you'll need to let me know, Rose. All right. So everybody, you have a great night. We will see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central. Bye.